Hello, welcome to the Draft Talk podcast and another Draft Talk podcast top five episode on linebackers today. Exciting. There's some pretty special ones this year, so let's get cracking. Well, before we do, I'm Brian, your host, and you know this by now. It's Owen and Stu with us. How you doing, guys?
Bit disappointed you didn't call us legends this episode, Brian. Called us legends
Don't
every other
like to.
episode.
Yeah, I like to sort of mix it up and keep you on your toes.
Okay, so we're downgraded from legends this week,
Got
but
to
I'm
prove
sure
it.
we'll
Got to
cope with
prove
that.
it.
We'll see how we
Yeah,
get on.
depend. You might call us anything but legends after this episode, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, linebackers, really interesting, really deep group. I think you're going to see a lot of players come off the board on day two and early day three. It's a really stat class, actually. I think it might be the best linebacker class we've evaluated since doing this. The depth is really strong and the talent's there at the top as well. Yeah, really, really exciting class.
Good stuff. Well, let's get going. Oh, and you can kick us off. Who's your number five, please?
Okay, I think we should caveat for the audience, first of all, that this is going to be a really funky episode to follow because I evaluated Arvell Reese as an edge rusher. Stu didn't, so I'm assuming he is going to appear on the rankings here somewhere. So it might get a little bit choppy, but we'll recap at the end when we get there. But yeah, we'll start. So my fifth ranked linebacker is Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. 6'1", 235 pounds, and just an absolute thumper. A physical, instinctive linebacker, really sound run fit skills, smooth movement as well in coverage, developing disruptive prowess, and he is just a multi-phase defender who is going to be immediately be able to play in base and sub packages because of those instincts and downhill pursuit. I think he's effective in zone drops as well, and his coverage awareness is good. His run support and backfield disruption grows year on year. What's in 2025 128 total tackles, led the conference, the Big 12, with 63 solo tackles, 11 tackles for a loss, and led the FBS with 7 forced fumbles. His peanut punch to punch the ball out is as good as you're going to see at this level. His gap discipline to stay square in run defense and that downhill pursuit to cut off lanes is exceptional. His wrap and finishing, he's a fundamentally sound tackler who gets under the pads and drives through contacts. He's a developing pressure package player as well, and just those really strong instincts and awareness. He's just a disruptive force. His problem is a lack of elite physical burst. Again, we are recording this the day before linebackers have been on the field at the NFL Combine. Probably bad timing to be talking about Jacob Rodriguez because that time will be everything for him. If he chooses to run, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, because we're not expecting a great number because his athletic profile is tight and shifty, and there's real questions over his foot speed, limiting his ability to cover at the next level. And he doesn't consistently show first step bursts that singles him out to create chaos in lanes. So that's the big knock on Jacob Rodriguez. But if he can hit a threshold, if he could just be average, as in the terms of the 10-yard split or even the 40, and if he looks a bit smoother and a bit twitchier in drills, then I think Jacob Rodriguez will be worth a flyer. Probably in round 2, to be honest with you. We're talking that highly. What's keeping him from being talked about towards the top, I think it's just this fundamentally isn't much of an athlete.
Yeah, he's just on the outside looking in for me, just outside my top five. He's someone, when you watch him play, he maximizes every ounce of his size. He's not the biggest; he's about 235 pounds,
Yeah.
but he has technique and anticipation. He understands leverage and timing, and um, he is far his best as a run defender and a blitzer. You know, giving him a clear path. Um, I think on the where he might struggle in the NFL is that side to side, obvious passing situation when he's got to cover
100%.
someone like a Kenyon Sadiq, for example, or a running back who splits wide. I think combine will be, or any 40 time, whether it's at the combine or at his pro day or whatever, is going to be. I heard it on a podcast this week, and I can't remember who it was that said it, but you don't have to be fast, just don't be slow. And I think that's really important for Rodriguez.
Yeah, I listened to that as well. It's the stock exchange, I'm sure.
That's the one. Yeah, that was it was somebody that I heard anyway very recently, and it came out of that quiz, and I totally, and that totally fits for him. His coverage skills remain a work in progress, but I think he's very much a forward-hitting guy. He's leadership qualities. He's a 2-year captain at that really good Texas Tech defense. We've talked about a lot of their front seven guys over the last couple of episodes. He creates havoc when he blitzes. That forced fumbles is a joy to behold. He's always punching at the football. Violent hands, stacks and sheds blockers really well. He's a player I'm really rooting for, and I hope he goes a bit higher, because you can see he just loves football and he just wants to be involved in everything in the middle of every play. Just that athletic downside a little bit held him back for me, but I can see why you have him at 5. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's one of those players that every fan wants their team to draft, because he's just such a fun. I hate the fun to watch thing, because it's such a cop out. It doesn't mean anything, does it? But it's just the physicality that he brings.
It's enthusiasm as well. It's infectious.
Just loves it. It's infectious, and I think it would be for teammates too.
Good stuff. Good start. Stu, who's your number 5, please?
Yeah, number 5 for me is Jake Golday from Cincinnati. He's somebody who's had kind of a bit of a meandering career to that point. He came out of high school without a single recruitment star. He landed at Central Arkansas and played really, really well there before getting his transfer. He made that jump to the Big 12 in 2024, and he's belonged there ever since. He's built really strongly. He's a legitimate 6'4". He's got long lives. He's got ability to catch at a long radius. He covers the sidelines smoothly. He's got a reasonably good top gear as well. He gets his hands early on blockers. He's a real wrap-up tackler with a really low missed tackle rate over his 5 seasons in college football. He had a defensive end background, so he has that ability to shoot gaps, and his timing off the snap count's really good. He drops into zone. He's got nice fluid hips as well. He has got a really strong motor. He keeps going, and he's in the end of that 4th quarter, he's still one of those players. He has plenty of energy left. His reaction time is just a little bit tick slow sometimes with diagnosing runs. He's maybe not the strongest against pulling guards. And yeah, he's not completely been that off-ball linebacker his whole career. He's still adapting and learning to it, but I think there's plenty of upside with him. He's a player I enjoyed watching, and he just snuck in my top 5.
He's such a difficult player to evaluate because of what he does in that scheme, that there wasn't many snaps that you see him playing pure linebacker. He played this really funky scheme where he basically was just like an overhang defender rather than a pure linebacker.
Yeah.
And so it was difficult, and this is something teams are going to have to do. The teams are going to have to be tuned in to how they're going to use him, because I don't think that's immediately clear from what you see on tape. But I really liked what I saw from Jake Golday. I've got him as my 4th ranked linebacker. I thought his coverage foundation with range and his ability to time routes was really good. He's almost can play on automatic in coverage because he's so smooth, and his tackling is really reliable with his technique. And I think he could be a really strong 3rd down playmaking presence, because you've got that ability to play him in sub packages. You can even get him blitzing or rushing the passer if need to, because he's got that background. And so I think he projects as almost like a modern will linebacker, but I'd say teams are going to have to be considerate of what that's going to be, because of his such a diverse almost plethora of evaluation, and the tape that he's got, he does so many different things because of that scheme. But yeah, his angle discipline as a tackler, and he's got more than enough effort, consistent motor. You can trust him on all 3 downs, and he's got that process and football IQ. Yeah, I really liked what I saw from him. I think his run stuffing potentially wasn't the best. He's not what Jacob Rodriguez was in terms of the prototypical thumper off the edge, who's going to give you that immediate impact. as a run stuffer, and is blocking engagements when he's moving forward to convert that kind of space into gap power. Wasn't necessarily there all the time, but yeah, it's really just a strange evaluation because of how Cincinnati used Jake Golday. That our job here would have been so much easier if they actually played him as a proper linebacker, and I wonder if how NFL teams will kind of adjust to that.
I think there's nothing that's just a splash play. I think he's just really clean.
Yeah,
his
absolutely.
technique's clean, his tackling's clean, his pursuit angles are clean. It's not just he tackles loads; it's how he gets in and how he makes those tackles. Because if he's playing again, you can have linebackers who have millions of tackles. So it's just because their defensive line is horrendous. But that wasn't the case there. I think he, and yeah, if I evaluated Arvell Reese differently, we would have been matched up because he would have been 4 for me. So
was Jacob Rodriguez 6 for you? Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we were. Yeah. This was always going to happen.
Arvell Reese has a lot of explaining to do.
I don't want to get that. Yeah.
We'll get there.
I'll come to you, Stu, for your number 4.
Yeah.
Figure out where Owen has him.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It depends what you think. Yeah. So mine is Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker from Texas.
Obviously.
Oh well, we're getting there. We're hitting.
We were so close, and then you put Arvell Reese as a linebacker.
Yeah, I know.
That's always me. I'll be responsible. That's fine.
Yeah, you graded him.
I could have put him in both. To be fair, I think it's fair to have the 2 evaluations on him at both positions and see what you like.
Yeah. So Anthony Hill, he's a linebacker from Texas. 2025, 95 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, and 2 pass breakups. He is a disruptor, I think, is a thing to say for me. He doesn't just kind of fill roles. He makes negative plays. His production is more about impact. He's not got as much volume as some of the other guys, but high tackles for loss and sack numbers really for him. I think he's a difference maker. There's a lot to like in his game for me. He's really good speed, sideline to sideline. He comes downhill with violence. He's got really high tackle grading. He's a quick trigger processor. His ball production, as I say, is really good. To say he's got that 8 career forced fumbles. He has a nose for where the ball is and wants to be there all the time. Really good pass rush ability.
Yeah.
It's really high for someone in that position. He's got good hit, drops into zone coverage really well as well. So he's not just all about full steam ahead. He's got really good long tackle radius. Sometimes can be a little bit over aggressive and can overrun plays, which means he has to kind of come back on himself. Man coverage against his really quick receiving back sometimes can get a little bit caught there. Tackling a bit high, he doesn't wrap up quite as well as maybe some of these other guys. But for me, real difference maker, causes an absolute load of havoc for offenses. And yeah, I think he's easily day 2 player, gonna go. I wouldn't be surprised if he's kind of goes early on day 2.
Yeah, I see him very, very similarly in terms of the strengths and the weaknesses you outlined there. I think he's going to be very much a conflicting player. Teams are either going to be really high on him or really low on him, because what he does really well, he's exceptional at, but what he does badly needs a lot of work. So I'll start there first in terms of he has a real lack of play strength, and I think that plays out when he has to defend the run, when run blockers get to the second level, he's not able to shed those blocks, and he's very much over aggressive and a lack of instincts as a coverage guy. So I don't think you're going to play him as kind of like a hybrid. You're not going to get him covering tight ends out the slot or anything like that, because that's just not his game at the moment. But what he does well, that he is a high impact, instinct driven linebacker who explodes moving forward. You want everything to be ahead of him rather than getting him to turn his back, because he's got that sideline to sideline range. He's a true playmaker and has got that versatility, and he's one of the most disruptive defensive talents in this class because of what he offers you as a blitzer and as a boss. in the summer, I ranked him very high. I thought he had the potential to be a top 10 pick in the summer because of what we saw from him in 2024. That what Arvell Reese has become in this space, as that's what I envisioned happening to Anthony Hill, because he is just such an explosive pass rusher. In 2024, he had 16.5 tackles for a loss, 8 sacks from the linebacker position. It did fall off in 2025. 7 tackles for a loss and 4 sacks, and maybe just wasn't utilised, but the Texas team in general fell off, didn't it? But yeah, the disruptive playmaking ability with true edge rushing juice, and just brings the heat as when moving forward, and has elite athleticism and the range and the instincts to chase down plays when the ball's in front of him. But I think he needs to become more competent in pass coverage. And he struggles because of that lack of power in shedding blocks, but I'm happy to bank on the traits that he has of him turning into a very good NFL player and him consistently getting better. He's a project, there's no doubt about it, which is why I think teams will be conflicted on him depending on what they want their linebackers to do. But I think if a team falls in love with Anthony Hill, then yeah, absolutely, like round 2, then yeah, I can get on board with that.
Brian Flores would absolutely love Anthony Hill. And mark it down, Vikings, that if they get the opportunity to draft him, they had an undrafted free agent playing that role, Ivan Pace, and he's potentially out the door. He is a way better version of that player. So someone like that, if they have that kind of mindset, they would absolutely love to have him blitzing as often as they could.
I loved Ivan Pace. I can't believe he went undrafted.
You did like him. Yeah, I mean, he is good. He was good. I was surprised he went undrafted, but Anthony Hill Jr., he's like a supercharged version of that player, I think.
Nice. Okay, we'll have your number 3 then, please, Stu.
Yeah, so number 3 for me is CJ Allen, the linebacker from Georgia. He is someone who, against a running game, you will see him absolutely tearing downhill with really good decisiveness, fills the gaps before there's even a block, and he meets those running backs as they're hitting the hole. He wraps up and finishes. He's got a really good tackle technique, really low missed tackle rate, and he's got a real impact at the tackle as well. He'll happily take on those pulling guards and those lead blockers as well. He can hold his point of attack reasonably. He doesn't just get washed out as some of the other linebackers were as well. Sideline to sideline speed. He trusts his instincts really well. As a blitzer, he's got a bit of juice about him as well. He'll happily burst through those gaps. Really, really good communicator. You see him talking to his teammates a lot. He's a real general there. He is a real organizer, which I think at the linebacker position, you know, is sometimes an underappreciated trait. But they are the phrase "the quarterback of the defense" is a bit naff, but they get that kind of point of what I mean in there. Not perfect, however. You know, none of these players are, and there is things he does have to work on. I think that if sometimes having to flip and run with some tight ends and linebackers, it's maybe not his thing. He sometimes does get a bit flat-footed on a really good play action. He sometimes takes a half step and then has to kind of adjust himself. Man coverage against really good receiving threats. It's not the role I would want him to have, but really, really good linebacker prospect in a good class. Yeah.
That leadership is his key trait. There's a quote from the combine where he said that Georgia let him call plays on the field sometimes because they trusted him that much that when there wasn't an obvious need in terms of scheme that he dictated what happened on defense, and Kirby Smart trusted him, and, you know, that he is just a true defensive leader. His instincts, his discipline as a 3-down presence with coverage range, consistent tackling, physicality, pursuit angles, has it all as a tackler, and can produce big plays in zone and in short intermediate passing down scenarios. His ability to just diagnose pre-snap it's just NFL level already, as he has that range, can work through traffic because of the anticipation and the awareness. I think he's fluid enough. He isn't doing drills at the combine. I think that's probably slightly to do with the fact that Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles have said that they are. And even though his surname beginning with A, he wouldn't be in the same group as them, that they're just going to be, they're just so much better athletes than him that so I can kind of understand why he's chosen not to. But yeah, so keep continuing with his strengths, that his ability to be like a surprise weapon, to create pressure as a blitzer is there. See, that football IQ and just situational awareness is brilliant. Weaknesses, maybe doesn't have all the power and the versatility in terms of coming off the edge if you wanted him to do that, and he is undersized at 6'1", 235 pounds, but extremely well-rounded, very little weaknesses on tape. It's just unfortunate for him that there's guys ahead of him who are special players.
Indeed. Talking of which, Stu, let's have your number 2, please.
See, I've took the easy way out here, whereas I didn't have to split them. It's trying to split. Sonny Styles has rocketed up boards. That for you to try and decide which we have at linebacker 1, I think it's probably a tougher choice than it maybe seems. So me splitting them and having Reese as an edge, maybe.
So you've taken the easy route out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's obvious in Ohio State 1-2, and that is, I've gone for Arvell Reese at 2.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like Sonny Styles. That's what it comes down to. Arvell Reese, he may well be a lot of people's number 1 linebacker. He may well be a lot of people's number 1 edge rusher. But I think he is more of a linebacker at the moment, and then that's what I've gone with creating him. Fair. He's got legitimate sideline speed. He's got a real closing burst as well, and it catches people off guard. He's on them so quickly. He's a really good run defender. Lightning speed, triggers downhill so fast. Tackles with authority. He's got power at the point of attack. You can move him around, as we know. That's what we've talked about. What's his role going to be? He's got that real pass rush upside, long arms, excellent hand usage. I just don't know with Arvell Reese. There's something in the back of my mind that I just don't know, and I can't put a finger on it. It's one of these weird things. There's not a lot to dislike about his game. I think he sometimes bites a little bit hard on play fakes, and he definitely needs to, if he's going to be a pass rusher, he's going to have to increase his pass rush plan, definitely. If you're going to play him at linebacker, coverage is not as good as his other facets of his game. He's only got 1 full season as a starter, so he's maybe not as experienced as some of these other guys as well. So is he? I don't think he is, but is he a flash in the pan? Who knows? I really do like him. He's going to go very high in this draft. He's going to test like a freak. But I just have a little question mark. I can't quite put my finger on it.
I think it's probably the fact that you're torn over what to do with him. That if you were able to look through a specific lens of, right, I'm evaluating him as an edge rusher, or I'm evaluating him as a middle linebacker, you can almost put him correctly into a bucket. But I think it's difficult when you don't know exactly what his role is going to be in the NFL to project that. So you just almost have to back yourself, and this is what I envision his role to be. I think in terms of the way that the NFL sees it, and the way that I think the majority of analysts are moving towards, I think he is moving towards being an edge rusher more and more as we go through the weeks. I think you're seeing more and more people say that he'll be moving to edge, and big time analysts moving that way too. But ultimately, I just don't think it really matters. He's just such a good player. It only matters when teams maybe have to justify taking a linebacker in the top 5. But guess what? There's a guy in Sonny Styles who is a linebacker who could also be justified as taken as a top 5 pick in this class. So ultimately, I don't think it really matters. It all just depends on that role flexibility of where you want to place him. But yeah, you can go back and watch the edge rusher episode if you want to know what I think of him as an edge rusher. But yeah, and if I was to pick him as if I was going to replace him as a linebacker, I would have done the exact same thing. I would have had Sonny Styles ahead of him as a linebacker, but I do have him as an edge because of that rare sideline to sideline range, which I think he offers, which plays into the linebacker thing. But I just think that he has the potential to be special. He also has the potential to bust as an edge rusher as well, but so does everyone. And I think his upside, I don't think there's any doubt that his ceiling is the highest of all players in this entire draft. That if he could be anywhere close to what he has the potential to become, he is a special player because of that athleticism and what he's been able to do. But yeah, there's a Sonny Styles is a special player, and I'm saying we'll get to him in a moment. But yeah, Arvell Reese, a tricky evaluation because you almost have to evaluate him in two different roles.
Yeah.
Talking of Sonny Styles, where have you got him, Ryan?
Yeah, we've both got him at number one, haven't we? That he's just rare. A 3-down linebacker who's kind of hybrid run stopper, coverage guy. In terms of the stats, read them first. 82 tackles, 6.5 tackles for a loss, 3 passes defended, an interception, 1 forced fumble, no missed tackles in 2025, which is just insane considering that he made 82 of them. A high octane 3-down linebacker, rare coverage skills because he was a safety. He played safety at Ohio State, and they've converted him and moved him closer to the line of scrimmage. But he still has those instincts. He still has that rare explosive movement. And I think he's still ascending as a playmaker at the line of scrimmage. That he's just been able to morph himself from what was a high caliber and high recruit as a safety into one of college football's most complete defensive players. And his rare leadership as well, that he took on those roles at Ohio State, which is no mean feat considering the guys that he was surrounded with. There is a question about it's something you certainly have to answer with these Ohio State players, is that defense was historically good in 2025. You look at the players that we're talking about at the top here, whether it's Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caden McDonald, Caleb Downs. There's just guys, it's littered with NFL talent, so they're not going to be necessarily playing in the same with the same caliber of players. So but we're talking about rare players at the top of the class here because his athleticism, and he has elite mental traits as well. That he has rare football IQ and instincts in all areas of the game with that rare range. Rare, it's just littered on my scouting report. Tackles for a loss and game disruption and emerging blitz utility. I'll let Stu come in on him in a second. But yeah, physicality, he just ticks all the boxes of what you want, and I would not be shocked. I think he's going top 10. I don't think particularly he gets past 7 at this point, to be honest with you. I think if he was there at 7, Washington would pull the trigger. The only question would be there is if Caleb Downs is also there, that there would be a discussion for them to have. I think a team's just going to jump on him.
Yeah. Will he be my number one overall player? I don't know. Will he be my favourite player in the draft? Probably. I really, really like Sonny Styles. He's since we've been doing this together, I think he's the best linebacker that we've seen.
Ooh,
as a true linebacker.
I love Micah Parsons though. And I would have evaluated him as a true linebacker at that point.
Yeah.
Difficult.
It's
a good question though.
Because I don't think he's going to play on the edge at all.
No,
I think he's going to be a linebacker. Yeah. So from that point of view, I think if we're looking at maybe these hybrid guys, Micah Parsons is
he's the one that I think stands out. I would agree with you otherwise.
He's not quite knocked off as my favourite ever player we've evaluated, but he's getting up there. Creed Humphrey is still number one. Even though I didn't rate him as number one that year. I don't know why. He's still my favourite I've ever watched since we've been doing this. But anyway, getting on to Sonny Styles. Yeah, super athletic. He is going to test. He's going to put on a show at the Combine. I think They're
You'd like
great.
to have
I
those
think
numbers. Who decided to do linebackers the day before that they actually do? Whose decision was that? It was a terrible decision. Don't blame me.
Yeah, yes, it was. Yeah, I'm not taking any of the blame for that. It's going to be him and Arvell Reese. I think they're just going to try and outdo each other. It's going to be in a friendly way.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put on an absolute show at the combine. He's going to have an amazing.
How nice is it to have good players, top of the board players participating at the combine?
I think I just said something about
so many years of
how,
just everyone opting out. Like it's good.
I think it just shows a bit of the competitiveness, possibly between the two of them. But also just as football players, they just want to go out and show I am absolutely awesome. We almost got an expletive onto our thing there. I didn't say anything though. So he's going to jump, he's going to run, he's going to do everything that you want. But his coverage ability for an off-ball linebacker, as you say, because he's played that safety role, it's some of the thing we criticize a lot of this linebackers for. You're not going to criticize him for that. He matches running backs. He can carry tight ends vertically, and he reads the quarterback's eyes really well. I think that comes from obviously having played further back in the field. Really violent hands against climbing linemen, sideline to sideline range. He's a really clean tackler, as you mentioned earlier, Ryan. He's got that football intelligence as well. That pre-snap, he diagnoses very well what's going on. You can align him up in a various alignment of linebackers as well because of that safety background. Play strength maybe is a question against some of the interior linemen, but
I wonder if I think he's still growing into his frame. I think he's 243 pounds. I wonder whether there's still room to put some muscle on there.
There's more to put on there, I think.
Yeah.
We talked about it as well with that fakes, RPOs, boot actions. He sometimes is just a bit too quick and will bite a little bit, but that's something I think he'll just work on. He's only had
Sonny
2
Styles,
full seasons.
stop being so good.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be so quick. Slow down, mate. Take your time. Only he's still learning the game as well at that position because he's only had the kind of 2 seasons as a linebacker. Rare talent, really like Sonny Styles. If he goes, if he gets out of the top 10, I would be absolutely shocked. And if there's teams who are really looking, for a linebacker in that, would some teams even jump up a couple of spots to take somebody like him? If you've got a team who is looking for something else and isn't looking at linebacker, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody jumped up a couple of spots. We need to get this guy in our team. Somebody like, they'll never do it, but somebody like Cincinnati, they would kill to have somebody, but they're not the type of team who will trade. They just like pick him when they are really boring. But yeah, he's a really, really special talent in this class.
Indeed. Not making to 12, is he?
No, but you've got ammunition there, Cowboys, if you want to.
If he could make it to 11, would be all right. He's not making it there either.
No.
Owen's going, no, he's not going to make it to like pick 700 or something, whatever it is at Falcons.
Don't joke about that. There we go.
At least we don't have to. Sorry, I was going to say. At least we don't have to have Owen really disappointed on round night 1 for the first time in quite a few years.
There's always potential.
They'll find a way.
There's always potential.
There's a will. There's a way.
Package up five picks in the 2026 NFL draft. Yeah, we'll put them all. Put all the chips in. Let's go and get it. Ty Simpson. Brilliant.
We shall see. Well, thank you very much, guys. Any others you've mentioned? It's a deep class. Any other names we need to keep an eye out for?
I'm surprised actually that Stu wasn't higher on Josiah Trotter. That I was adamant that you would have him in your top 5. I thought he was the type of player that you would have really, really liked because he's just physical, hard hitting DNA. He's just
maybe just evolving. That's what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's such a deep class. It could easily have been in there. It could have easily been in there. I think for me with him, he's a bit his measurables.
Yeah,
he's a bit small arm length. He's not. He's more in that short area rather than long sideline to sideline speed, and that's just what kind of dropped him off for him. But yeah, he is. Yeah, he's physical. He likes a scrap, and I do like him.
Yeah.
Another one who I did like, but he was never going to make my top 5 was Torrin York.
Yeah, talk about small.
He is small, but boy is he quick. And he is a really good tackler for someone his size. He can blitz well. He's got good pre-snap. He tracks the ball well. He's got disciplined eyes. He's just small.
Yeah, he's so
just
difficult.
too small.
The NFL doesn't draft these guys.
No, it's a shame because I think he's really fun to watch. And there's loads about his game you like, but at the NFL, it's just going to be big guys beating on little guys, unfortunately. And I think he's just not big enough to play that position.
No, and yeah, I like him. I actually had him at linebacker 8, so I liked what I saw from him, but I do wonder how high he could potentially go because I think he will. I think he's good. He'll get drafted, I think, because of the class that we're in. But something like Pupol from last year was like 4th or 5th round. He was smaller. That there's just historically,
and he was cut very quickly as well.
Yeah, that the NFL just doesn't seem to like these guys, so I do worry for him.
Oh, well, there we go. Good stuff. Before we go, quickly remind the people of your top 5s, please, guys.
Yeah, so at 5, I had Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech, Jake Golday at 4 from Cincinnati, Texas Anthony Hill at 3, CJ Allen from Georgia at 2, Sonny Styles at 1.
So I had Jake Golday at 5, Anthony Hill at 4, CJ Allen at 3, Arvell Reese at 2, and Sonny Styles at 1. We were close to getting the same again.
Yeah, so close.
We've got a few more. We've got a few more episodes to get it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like it. Well, good stuff. Thank you to you two legends, and thank you to all you guys listening / watching. We'll be back very soon. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. See you later.